Welcome back, everybody.
And God bless us, everyone.
My brain actually almost went, welcome to Trisha's Secret Time. Just like as a really old automatic programming. Those of you who don't know, we used to live stream once a week for years, and we called it Trisha's Secret Time, and it was the best time of the week because we just chit-chat about all kinds of things. But that's not what we're doing today. Today, we are making a podcast. I am Tara.
I'm Natalie.
And this is We're Making a Movie, a podcast about us making our very first feature film. We are making a feature film for the very first time. We've made several short films at this point. Mm-hmm. We've learned so much, and now we're taking all those skills. We're making a movie, and then we decided to make a podcast about making that movie because that just seemed like the bestest way to spend our very few bits of free time we had.
Very logical.
Very logical. It's all good choices. All good choices.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get rolling, we got to have a couple of important things. First off, we want to thank PayPaler Jack Boots. Thank you so much for PayPaling us some funds to help us make this movie. We have a little PayPal link set up where you can go and help donate to the movie. Everything we get there, we're putting towards making our movie turns out. It's the apocalypse, I think. That's the feature we're making.
That's not just you think. We think.
No, we think.
I think.
If you are live with us here on YouTube, you can do that in real time right now using the super chat feature, and every bit of super chats go to helping make this movie happen. And thank you in advance and retroactively to everyone who's ever given us their precious coins, because it means so much. No amount's too small, and every time we get a little bit, it gets us a little closer to making this very, very big budget thing.
Tara says precious coins, and my brain goes to like a video game. Like, I don't know, like where with coins, do you think of like pirates, or like do you just think real life?
I just think real life. Like,
okay.
One of my favorite TikTokers has started saying your precious coins, and she goes like this. She's a makeup gal who like does dupes. And like precious coins. So I think of her, I think precious coins.
Oh yeah, I immediately think of like Super Mario, like collecting coins.
Yeah. Oh, I get you. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, that's my weird TikTok life that I'm living. My other reality. Before we really get off and rocking, I just want to give everyone a heads up that there's construction happening next door to my place. The apartment building, not a building, it's a longhouse, but it's always got several different tenants. It has been completely evicted, and now they're rebuilding it. I don't know what's going on, but it's every once in a while there's a jackhammer right now. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like, it's not just like low grade, the generator running. It's like full scale stuff. So just a heads up, if weird sound happens, I probably won't even notice it happens because I'm so used to it at this point.
I wonder if I'm just going to go off the rails today. I can tell this is
that day.
No, I wonder like if, I think we could make some serious funds off of selling ADR nightmare like sound effects, like just like jackhammers, helicopters, like just a whole playlist that is your horror playlist, but it's all the sounds. You're like, hold for helicopter, hold for plane. And just like make the nightmare ASMR for. I think there's a market for that.
We're just trying all the things. I actually like. I put these like little YouTube scapes on with like innocuous music on sometimes, and they're really pretty. They're like fall vibes with music. And recently it crossed my TikTok feed of like how to make those and make side hustle monies. So I'm like, I could do that. I could make some side hustle monies that way. I won't. I don't have time for this.
I'm gonna do a haunted house that's just for filmmakers.
If you want to know what shush shush was like, this is what shush shush was like.
The guy with the weed whacker. Okay. All right. We're gonna dive into this episode because that I could go on about this
But
for
I mean,
hours.
literally, our old live streams were just this insane.
Mhm.
But we are focused. We are
We are
here.
focused
We're
from here
focused.
on
We're
out because there's a
talking
lot
about
to cover.
yeah, there's a lot of information that we've learned this week because of the podcast that we want to impart to everybody. We learned
Mhm.
about DPs. I actually am really glad we did this because it helped me deep dive into like things I probably should know but did not know, and I'm embarrassed to admit I don't know.
Okay,
Okay,
so
let's do it.
we've done an entire episode that was about, your core crew and who those are, who those people are. We're kind of in the phase right now with the script where we need to start, well, not us, it's not our job, but looking for a DP for this
Yeah.
film. This is the phase where your director is going to go, I need that director of photography here with me to start planning these things out. We don't exactly know why or how or what you look for in a DP, and that's what we're going to dive in today.
No, no. So before we really, really, really get in there on those things, let's just for the lay people out there, let's talk about what a director of photography, a DP is. It's the head of the camera and lighting departments on a film responsible for the visual style and translating the director's vision into cinematic images. I
Mhm.
think it's one of the coolest jobs. It's one that it's magic to me. Like all those cameras and gears and stuff and like deciding that this angle makes me have this feeling,
That's
magic.
the part that fascinates me is the
Magical.
psychology behind it. I mean, lighting gets to do some of that too,
Yeah.
but DP with, like, picking the camera angles and picking even getting down to, like, the bokeh in your camera and things like that.
Seriously.
It's
Yeah.
all just messing with your brain. They're like wizards,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
editor's the other
Emotional.
wizard on your set. Those 2 people
Yeah.
are
Yes.
insane.
Yeah, the 2 jobs that fascinate me the most, like, I went to the Academy, Motion Picture Museum over the weekend and went to the Jaws exhibit, and there's a whole section where they talk about the cameras, which they had the actual cameras, very cool. But there was
Mhm.
one where there was a dual focus, and I was like, "Oh, I never even realized that they're showing this split attention thing that's happening emotionally to this character by giving us dual focus," and I never understood what a big deal that was
Why?
until it was
Mhm.
spelled out to me. And it
Yeah.
was it's that scene where he's, like, watching the little kid in the water and the guy comes up and talks
Mhm.
to him in the foreground.
Yeah.
So cool, amazing. So,
Well, the same thing
DP.
with doing rack focuses, yeah, and then yeah,
Yeah.
and then the difference between a handheld shot versus, one
Mhm.
that's on sticks, like, what that does to you mentally, it's not my expertise.
No,
I can
no, magic.
I'm here to make you laugh.
Ma
That's it, that's all I got.
I do that part of the creative wizardry.
Mhm.
It's pure science and magic to me, and I've always thought it was super, super cool.
So,
S
I was gonna say,
Go
in
for it.
this, we're not going to, I'm not gonna describe this chart that we found while we were doing our research. We found this really
Mhm.
cool crew hierarchy chart that we are gonna link below, in the comment section, and I will even put that in somewhere in the description of the podcast. Hopefully, you can find that. I don't know how the podcast works. Um, but it's the hierarchy of who is in charge of whom on a set, and this is something that has just always completely baffled me. Often on sets, I'm there with friends. It's like I know the director or I know the producer or I know the whatever. And I often go to the wrong person to talk about the wrong thing because I have no idea what the hierarchy is. I'm going to plug this chart in so you guys can see, and you can see who falls under whom when it's who's their boss. So who
Mhm.
answers to who.
Yeah.
But that's just a little sidebar, and we'll put that in the comment
Right,
section.
yeah. And a lot of times you and I work on sets where we're doing multiple hat jobs. So it's like it
Hmm.
gets muddy, but it's nice to remind ourselves like this is the actual hierarchy on the really big sets. And then you can
Hmm.
decide how we're merging jobs together because that is something that does happen with DPs. Their jobs get
Hmm.
merged into several different parts of the camera department, which we'll touch on later. All right. So I know I kind of touched on this already. I, what do they do aside from like point a camera and go like this shot should look like this. Like the DP again, it's wizardry. And what it is that they're really responsible for is like the visual style of your film or your television show or whatever and taking that the director's like I really want these the director will have like little sketches of like a scene the storyboards and the cinematographer the DP will figure out how do I make that image actually happen. Like that's their job. And those are so important because it is emotionally telling a story because movies are a visual medium. We convey a lot of the emotion of what's going to happen in this movie, what we're doing by the style, the lighting, the composition. Like, is everything scrunched together in this part of the shot? And you see a big sign over here that I always think about Elf. Nope,
Mhm.
Grinch. The Grinch, where they're
Mhm.
doing all these wibbly wobbly shots and stuff that I never thought of before until they're like, oh, the cinematographer wanted to make sure you felt like uneasy in this
Yeah.
world. And
Mhm.
like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like, they're responsible for figuring out how to convey these emotions, this tone, this stuff
Mhm.
into a camera shot.
And I will say like we were saying with the hierarchy, they do ultimately answer to the director, and they are responsible
Mhm.
for getting the director's vision across. So you can't watch a movie and know that was the DP versus that was the director,
Yeah.
because it is muddied, and in some
Mhm.
situations, a DP does much more than in other situations. Sometimes the director is very hands-on with the DP, and then other times the DP is running with their own ideas. So I don't want you to. There's no cut and dry
No.
on this, and I just want to get that across.
Yeah, and it's a very symbiotic relationship. It's very
Mhm.
close. So some of the key responsibilities of the DP. So like I said, they're visually telling the story. They're helping us handle that visual element of the storytelling. They gotta have a strong technical expertise for cameras and lenses, artistic collaboration with the director. They manage the crew, the entire crew, the camera department, the first ACs, the first assistant camera, all the camera operators, the jib operators, all those people are all being managed by the DP. They're the ones who are picking out the equipment that you need. Famously, Wei Wang, one of our favorite DPs,
Who will be speak.
who will be interviewing. He's always coming to me with a list of like, what would really make this shoot cool? This new bigger piece of equipment you never even heard of. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a what?
Mhm.
I've learned so much from that. They production supervision on set, they supervise the implementation of the visual plan. Like, they're connecting the crew, the grips together, and like figuring out how to bring the light to life. And then in post production, the DP often gets involved in the post production, especially for the color grading process. Like,
Mhm.
Wei and I have sat many times late into the night in a coloring room together with our post color person, and like sat there matching shots and doing
Mhm.
emotional color values and stuff.
So I think there's in the storytelling realm, and this is just very basic. Like I said, every director is going to be different, and every DP collaboration is going to be different. But I think you can kind of say that the director is out there painting in black and white, and they know what
Hmm.
they want. They've got
Yeah.
a vision of what they want, but it's kind of flat and it's
Yeah.
black and white. And then the DP comes in and puts the color grade over it, and
Yeah,
puts
yeah.
the 3D to it, and puts the movement to it. A director
Mhm.
knows what shots he wants, what emotions he wants to convey. He doesn't necessarily know the magic of creating those emotions except for timing and, like, and again, it's going to be different all the time. We are
Yeah.
going to interview some directors and their styles with DPs as well, and what they come to the plate with, and what they need in a DP. And that's where your relationship needs to be very important. Of,
Mhm.
I'm this kind of director. I know what I want with this. I need, this is where my holes are. I need you to fill those in as a
Yeah.
DP.
Yeah. I like that analogy. That's so appropriate. It's like it's one of those great games of yes and. The director says, "I
Hmm.
want this," and the DP goes, "Oh, I see. Yes, and this." Like, they add
Yeah.
to it and fill it out and give it texture in
So
3D.
you want this person to feel like they're more in power? Well, then let's like put the camera a little bit lower. Let's
Yeah.
shoot up at them. They feel taller. And vice versa. Whereas the the director might not have thought that through that way. They just know that
Mhm.
what they want is a one shot here and a powerful shot, and you just go,
Yeah.
oh, well, the way I do that is I put a slightly wider angle lens, and I do,
Do this and do
I
that.
don't know. That's the
Well, I don't
thing.
know that answer. But they
Yeah.
will. They'll be the people that help bring, like, "Oh, if you're trying to achieve this, let's go this
Mhm.
way." And it's again, wizard magic.
Mhm.
In our deep diving on like what a DP actually literally does, because we were really excited to really kind of get in there and really learn that. We had this question, well, what's the difference between a cinematographer and a DP? Like, is there a difference? Fun fact, there's a difference. It's not a wide swinging difference. It's not like it changes the job, but there is a difference. You are a cinematographer. It's what you do. You become a director of photography when you're hired on a job as the head of the camera department. So all DPs are cinematographers, but not all cinematographers are DPs. You can be a cinematographer and be a first AC on a job, but until you are the director of photography on the job, are
Yeah.
you then a DP? I
It's your role
It's your
in that.
role. Yeah.
Now, with that said, they are interchangeable
Mhm.
in common language. So
Yeah,
some people prefer
absolutely.
to be called cinematographers
Mhm.
and some people prefer to be called directors of photography. So
Yeah.
you're not wrong if you call them either
Yeah.
one. They might have a preference though.
Yeah, there's that many like, I prefer being
Mhm.
called an actor as opposed to an actress. It's just a personal thing. I don't know
Mhm.
why. No, I know why, but I'm not getting into it right now. But it's just that, like, I prefer being called a DP, whatever. But I did think that was like a really I just never I personally had never thought about it before. Never really thought about it deeply except for a passing. I don't understand the difference. So there you all go. So, uh in this world, we're gonna just keep calling them DPs because that's easier for us. It's just
Mhm.
easier to say and write. So just so you all know, when we're talking about this particular job right now, we're calling it all DP right now just to make it easy and simple for everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we've gotten to the point with Natalie and I where we're like, great, we fully understand what a DP is, but why do we need a DP now? Because
Yeah,
we're
we're
still
not on set.
we're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not.
We feel so far away, but we
It
are
does.
so close to making this movie. Like, it's
Well,
over there, but it's right here.
I will say that one of the reasons, and this is not on our list, is because lightning could strike at any minute and you need
That
to be ready. So that is
absolutely.
one of the reasons. Like
Yeah.
getting your
One
DP lined up
yeah.
instead of scrambling to find one is probably a better
Yeah.
idea.
Well, it
Uh,
is so important. Like,
mhm,
I was pulling clips from this very show, and one of the things that Paula Rhodes in a previous episode had mentioned, like, was a key thing for her now that she has to get right is the DP. And I'm like, she's so right because
mhm,
it is such an important part of your project. The way it looks is so important, and you cannot. It's one of the few things you cannot fix in post is bad DP work. You can't fix that. You can fix a lot of other stuff. So we are in pre-production. Our script is
we are
locked.
not in pre-production.
I'm sorry.
We're still in
We're in
development.
self-development. We're in development. So I wrote pre-production version. Our script is locked. And this is about the time that conventional wisdom in our research says it's time to start looking at getting the DP. And the person whose job it is really to hire the DP, the person whose choice it really comes down to is the director,
Mhm,
because that relationship is such a close relationship. You gotta get along with your DP as the director. So it's an important process. So kind of starting early makes sense anyways, because it may take a minute to find somebody that you like
mhm.
really jive, that you feel like understands your project after showing them the deck.
Yeah, and I will
Uh,
say that that's the difference between some of the other crew positions that are very important. It's that you don't really need to have the same collaboration with
mhm.
I don't think your sound engineer and you have to have the same level of collaboration or even your location manager or, like
Yeah.
you want a good working relationship, obviously, but you don't need to necessarily have the exact same vision. And
Mhm.
that's where I think this becomes much more
Yeah.
important with your director of photography.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have a lot of, like, creative input, and this is a really good time to have that creative input because you're nailing down the visual language, the color, the overall look, and something that occurred to me while reading up on all this stuff is that it's important even when pitching the project to investors, like, "Here's what I'm this is the product I'm making. Here's what it looks like. Here's what the colors are. Here's what our shots are gonna look like," and that does make a difference because maybe the investors, like, oh, I don't really like this style that you're
Right.
doing. I don't really want to invest. Or they feel lied to when later you're like, you presented like a very like a bubblegum 80s version of the movie, which is in the case of ours. We're testing out different elements and styles. And then we presented them something that's more darker and rougher with pink on the edges. They're like, well, this isn't exactly what I was
Mhm.
investing in. You were giving me a product that's very different than the product that I thought I was getting in your deck.
Well,
And
we
so I was
talked
like,
about
oh, that's important.
yeah, we talked about E.T. E.T. was billed as like this horror film, like the
Yeah.
first script was, but by the time they got to the end of it, it was this bubblegum feel good, and that was
Mhm.
not what he had sold to the company, and they ultimately ended up backing out. in
Right.
post-production, yeah. So
Exactly, yeah, like,
mhm,
that product that this is the product we're making here, and they're such a big part of that process.
mhm,
They also can help, I think, a lot with, in a budgeting sense when it comes to location scouting and such, like them going, "Hey, we could shoot this house for 2 separate houses." The DP is gonna be the one that can really go, "Yeah, we can do that. We can make
mhm.
this castle in the story of Monty Python. We can make this castle 5 different castles by
Yeah.
just shooting this castle this way and shooting this way." So you can help your budget out by having your DP involved this early on in the location scouting process and being like, "Hey, yeah, we can shoot this basement, but the upstairs, that actually works for the house that you're thinking of." And like
Mhm.
maybe you couldn't see it because your brain doesn't work in the same magical way that their brain works.
Well, and that's just like I was saying earlier that the DP paints in the 3D and everything, but they paint in 3D within this lens.
Yeah.
And so they have a very, when they look at a room, so when we went location scouting for social anxiety, we went to a
Mhm.
bunch of Airbnbs or pure spaces that like to go and find these locations. And Way went with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Um, and Way was our DP on that. And Way, there were a couple places he's like, well, this works, but this scene's not going to work. And I'm like, it's a house that does this. This fits what I
Yeah.
wrote on a piece of paper. And he's like, yeah, but when you try to shoot this scene, you won't.
Mhm.
It will feel disconnected. This wall doesn't look anything like that room. And I'm just like, what? And he's like,
It's
and I can't,
amazing.
he's like, and I can't establish that wall in this shot. And I was just like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
So
Bless
like,
you for being
yeah,
here on this project because
yeah,
I wouldn't have thought that, and then we would
we
have had
had,
a mess in the editing
mhm.
room.
Yeah, there's some of that's just experience of
Yeah.
having, I mean, I think you can get that same experience from different
Mhm.
positions on a set, I mean, producer and stuff like that. But some of that is just like I think through the lens and I can see it on a screen instead of seeing the entire world. That's why I think you can go, I can shoot this side for this and this side for a whole nother room, is because you're able to put blinders on and see
Uh-huh.
just what that screen
Just
is going to see. I
this.
don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
It's
fascinating.
really cool. It's really cool. So we've really done some homework and learned a lot of stuff, and
Mhm.
from our experience too, we're pulling from our experience with DPs, and we are going to be spending the next couple of weeks really diving into this. Like Natalie said, we're going to be interviewing not only DPs but also directors, because we want
Mhm.
to we want to bring out a full story of like, why are we doing this, what are we doing, we want to understand. And
Mhm.
like I've said before, this podcast has been our glorious excuse to do some homework and then get access to interviewing people that we may not normally have had
Right.
access to. So
I
it
mean, we
was a
always have access to Way, who will be here next week, but we've got
yes,
a couple other that are like
yes, we're
reaches
super
that we're
excited, yeah, that we're
we
gonna, like, we've conned them into coming on this show.
what you should know is that Tara and I have been going to festivals and collecting people. Like
Collecting. We go to festivals now with an eye to who do we wanna interview on the
yeah,
show, and, like, how can we become best friends with them then? Because
I
also
know.
now we have these friends.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, so, the only other thing, and you did touch on this, that I was
Mhm.
gonna, say is that the other reason to bring a DP in right now, and you did touch on this, but I wanna emphasize it, is
Yeah,
that
go.
your budget is going to be much different once they say what they want camera-wise. So your director can know a little bit that they want a dolly shot here, and now you have to go get a dolly, but that when they go, "Yeah, but we'll also need this and this and this to
Uh-huh.
make that dolly shot work," which
Yeah.
also means these lights and this, like, the price point can go up considerably once you add
Oh,
on a DP.
and how.
So I would always say bringing in your DP a little bit earlier before you've
Yeah,
locked in your
it's good.
fundraising and your budget, because inevitably you're going
Yeah,
to need more money
you're
once you
getting
bring
more
on
money.
yeah, when you
Like,
bring on the DP.
they're such an excellent resource to like, as a producer who's put together budgets, like, they're such an excellent resource for, like, "Tell me how much this truck is gonna cost me. Can
Yeah.
you tell me how much?" Now, be for real. No way, be for real. What big toy do you need, and how much does that change the insurance that I need? Because I've had
Mhm.
to
Oh, yeah.
modify our insurance mid-production because I'm like, "Oh, now we're getting this, like, $1,000,000 piece of equipment. I need to have a coverage that can cover that," and that changes things. So that's a line item.
And you know what? They can make it go the other direction too. I
Totally.
mean,
Oh,
you can go,
100%.
"I need a jib shot." Jib is a crane that holds the camera,
Mhm.
and does that big wide pull-out shot,
Yeah,
which now drones can do that.
drones.
Um, and there are things like that that you
Yeah.
go, "I need to have a dolly for this," and they're like, "No, we'll just put it on a Steadicam." Like, you don't need a
Yeah.
dolly. I need, just things like that, that they can go the opposite direction, or go,
Mhm.
you don't actually want a dolly because that doesn't give the emotional feel that you want.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't wanna
it
do
would
what
be
your kids
better
wanna do.
if it walked to the side, or if it trucked, like,
Yeah.
so, and it is, they can be scrappy, and they know how to, like,
Mhm.
how to do things on the cheap, whereas you think
Yeah.
you need, but they can also want bigger cameras and more
It
lenses.
could
That's
go
where
both directions. Well, it could go both directions at the same time. They can
it's
go, "I really want this piece of equipment. I will trade you. You don't need this shot." Like,
yeah.
fine.
It can be a wash. Well, yeah, my thing always is, and maybe we have to do an entire episode on lenses, because I don't
Oh,
understand
can we?
lenses
I
to
think we
save
should.
my soul.
I
I
seriously.
I constantly, when somebody's like, "We're switching lenses," I get, like, distance. I understand
Mhm.
that some of them have wider angle.
Yes,
Some
yes.
of them have different focal lengths, but beyond that, like, what they do
Uh-huh.
differently, I know there's other things.
Yeah.
I know that. Like, I
I'm
I
with
don't
you.
even
It's like I can't tell you how many very handsome men have explained lenses to me, and you would think that the information would trap in my brain, but it's like a guy telling me the rules of football. Every time I'm like, "I get it. I get it. Oh, I understand." And then I walk away, and a month later, I can't tell you what that 50 does. I have
I
no idea.
honestly think that you learn, like, one more piece. You don't like, they explain,
Maybe.
like, 20 more pieces because that's what it takes to understand it, but I've
Uh-huh.
taken one more piece away, and so,
Yeah.
like, just like football, you're like, "Oh, I understand what a safety is now," but I still don't
Yeah.
understand all the other things that went along with that.
Right. I got to work in a very sick burn on a group of men by talking about the bye week, but,
Oh,
like, that's all I got.
yeah,
I just got my one
but
joke.
with the last conversation you had, you didn't even know what a bye week was, so
No, so I'm improving. No, that would
oh,
be it would be I don't know if anyone would wanna sit here through a conversation about lenses except for a couple of guys who wanna get in here and correct us, but, like, I would be into
I
it
am
because I
you
wanna
know what?
learn.
Maybe we'll tack on another DP one later on where they just
Yeah,
explain the lenses to
it's
we'll
just a
interview a
rogue
first
episode.
AC. I don't know who's in charge of the lenses. I don't
Oh, we
know.
bring on every single position and ask them, "What do you do?"
Yeah, what exactly do you do?
Oh my goodness,
Uh,
so fun.
so so
Anyways,
then when it comes down to, so we kinda know why we need a DP at
yeah,
this stage.
we're getting there.
So what do you look for in a DP? And we are
Yeah,
going to ask some of our favorite directors, what they look for. We're gonna have later on, we're hoping to have on, I don't this is not solidified yet, Ash and her DP, Becky,
mhm.
because they collaborate quite often, and just
Oh,
we'll talk
yes.
about the collaboration process as well. But, like, so what are you looking for in a DP? And I think the
Mhm.
most important part of looking for a DP, it comes down to that same thing that we talked about before. Not every director is right for every script. Not every
Right.
actor is right for every script. Not every DP is right for every script.
Mhm.
You want them to have, they should have relevant portfolio experience. So if you're doing a TV show, they often have much brighter, um, so let's just go. Let's Downton Abbey. You're
Yeah,
shooting
there you
Downton
go.
Abbey.
Yeah.
You're doing a period piece. You're doing, like, the upstairs, downstairs. You're having those two different
Mhm.
dynamics happening in the same thing. You want someone who has done an upstairs and a downstairs. Like, who have done both the very prestigious, and they know how to make things feel regal. And you want
Uh-huh.
someone who is capable of making things feel hectic. And so you might look at the guy who did, like, if I was hiring for the Bear, I
Mhm.
might go to the guy who did the downstairs portion of Downton
Oh,
Abbey, because
yeah.
they've got that
Uh-huh. Yeah,
hecticness
the
already. They know
craziness,
how
yeah.
to get that across. Now, but if it was someone who had only done the upstairs portion of
Mhm.
Downton Abbey, I wouldn't hire them for the Bear. That's
Right.
not
Yeah.
the same,
Mhm.
that's not A-frame. But again, obviously, I'm guessing it was the same person who did both upstairs, downstairs on the Downton
Mhm.
Abbey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so you should, when you're talking to your director of photography, you want to define the visuals of your project. That's where a director should have their tone deck
Yeah,
already,
the tone
and
deck.
that can be adjusted.
Mhm.
You can have a collaboration where it's like, yeah, but I think you should go purple and reds instead of whatever it is. And sometimes that is psychological as well. Like, I think we should do harsher shadows. I think we should
Right.
do these kind of things. And so you want to assess the creative vision with them. Make sure that they understand what you're going for. And often that's going to be referencing other films. You know,
Mhm. Right.
I want something that feels like Jaws. I want something that has that 70s at this point in time, it's a retro vibe, you know, or whatever it
Yeah.
happens to be. Um, Someone could walk into our script thinking it's a very the vision we had for our script, I will say, is different than what the tone deck that
Mhm.
Michael came to us with. And I
Right.
really like his tone deck. I
I
think it
love the tone deck.
adds
Yeah.
a new element to it,
Yeah.
but it's definitely, I mean, I don't even paint in black and white when I'm visualizing these things. It is much
Mhm.
more like a dream where there's vagaries of,
Vague
you know,
ideas of
yeah, like,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I know there's a house, you know,
Yeah.
like, um, so like him putting that on paper, then now going to a DP and showing them that, because they could read the script and have a totally have a very
Mhm.
television visual to it,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
where it's
which is
like
not yeah.
saturated and, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
and
we're
then
yeah.
yeah. And so then you wanna make sure that they have the technical expertise to do this. So,
Yeah.
have they made a film before? Have they made, you know, like, now it doesn't, just because they haven't done one before doesn't mean they're not
Yeah.
qualified,
It just kinda
but
depends on where you're at with that, because like, sometimes
mhm,
what you're doing is you're finding a person who was potentially has been the first AC on a number of feature films, but hasn't been the DP before, and so you're like, "Here's this opportunity. You've had this experience as a first AC. Come do it as a DP now." And that's like
mhm,
so for filmmakers like us at our level, that's a great opportunity for everyone to rise the boats together.
mhm,
But you don't want to, you may not want to grab a guy who's only done a couple of 5-minute shorts so far for your feature film, even though he's got a great eye, because it's a big plate to eat. It's a lot
mhm.
of moving parts. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you just watched a short film that is the exact tone and the exact
Yeah.
movement that you
Yeah.
want for your film, then heck, you know, give them
Yeah.
that next
Take
one,
that.
you know?
Mhm.
Um, and then, you know, you wanna kind of, as in all actually, no, in more so in this one, you wanna find out, like, their kind of industry reputation. Like, do they
Oh,
follow through? Are they easy to work with? Or I mean, I
yeah.
would definitely, this is as a director looking for a DP, kind of like how we were when looking for our director. You need it to be someone who you know you can collaborate with and you're not going to run into
Mhm.
butting heads on set. They don't fight, they're not lazy, they're not, you know,
Uh-huh.
you it's such an important position. You can't have any missteps. So
Yeah.
I, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
ask around.
I just had a lunch meeting with a woman who's making her very first short film,
Mhm.
and she has her director, she loves her director. Her and her director had a meeting with a DP that she never met before, and is being pushed. The DP is kind of being pushed on her by a collaborative production company,
Mm.
and the guy came in the gate like telling them what to do and being super bossy and kind of dismissive in the meeting, and then it comes out that he hasn't read the script, and she's like, no, and I'm like, Ju just by the fact that he comes into the meeting being very aggressive and like,
Mhm.
telling you what to do already, like, he's not a collaborator. Like,
No.
that's the moment that you go, "We don't fit." Like, that such a crucial meeting.
Well, and you know what? It could be someone, I mean, that could fit for someone else's, you know, like if so
Totally.
I I don't want someone who's bossy, but there's a
Right.
possibility that I'll be directing something in the future, and I want a DP who has very clear, if I direct it, I would want a DP that had very clear visions
Yeah.
and knew how to execute them and could make up for what I don't
Right.
know, because as a director, I will never call myself a director. Even if I direct this thing, I don't think I would still call myself a director because I would be an actor's director. I want to
Mm.
be in charge of, I know what I want the mood to be on this. I don't have any idea what that shot is going to be. I know what I want
Right.
my actors to do. So it'd be much more of a stage type of direction. I'm getting what I want out of my actors, and I know what I want
Mhm.
out of my final edit. The execution of that, I have no idea how to do that, and I know that. So I would want a DP who has a director's eye as well, and
Mhm.
that takes a little bit more of a, you
It's
know,
a
but
different
but
dynamic. Yeah.
again, you got it, like that collaboration would be very difficult, and you
Mhm.
have to do your due diligence to find who that right person is, because
Yeah.
the project could just tank if you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
doing it
well,
right.
finding you the right DP who's going to speak up, but also know when to let you be in charge
Mhm.
again. Like, that and that's challenging, that's hard. Like, it's always difficult to collaborate on set, but, like, like in that case of that initial meeting, like if this person's being this way already in this meeting,
Oh, yeah.
that they're going to continue that behavior, and if not worse, once you get on
Mhm.
set. So like,
Mhm.
is that working for you? Is that what you need? Do you think you can work with that? Like it all depends. So
Mhm.
it's very I ask around.
Yeah.
Ask people who've worked with this person. It's fine.
So just like, actors have reels or, we have our headshots, but then we also have our reels that, show our range. DPs often will have reels that you can go and check out, and they have their DP reel. Or, I mean, some of it is you can just go watch a movie. I did this movie, or you go look at their IMDb. But they will often put together reels, and it's kind of interesting to watch it from a whole different perspective. You're watching a reel that you're supposed to ignore all of the acting in it because they had nothing to do with that. You have to
Yeah.
ignore the content because they had nothing to do with the content. Is it visually appealing?
Yeah.
And does it and I will say, does it elicit feelings? If it's just visually appealing, I think you are still only a photographer even. You just happen to work in a
Mhm.
moving medium. If
Right.
it doesn't
Yeah.
elicit feelings, and
That's really good note. Yeah.
I'm full of good notes
Yeah,
sometimes.
you're
I
great.
don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, well, I've watched a lot of these cinematographer DP reels, and I'm like, over the years, I've gotten better at being like, "Okay, I know what I'm
Mhm.
looking for," but, like, that's a really helpful note to give, like, when you're watching their work, are you getting feelings? Like, are you feeling the emotions that the camera work is supposed to be
Mhm.
embodying you? And that's a really good, like, green flag, basically. A
Yeah.
lack of it isn't a red flag,
No.
but a presence of it is a definite green flag, like, "Oh, yeah, you want this guy."
I mean, yeah, you walk away from some movies, you're like, "It was just visually breathtaking."
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what they're trying to get across, is
Yeah.
just like, "This is beautiful. I want you to
Mhm.
feel how beautiful this world is." Like,
Right.
documentaries, nature documentaries are very much that.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
sometimes movies, even narrative
Yeah.
ones,
Sense and
feel
Sensibility
that
does that.
way.
Has
Mhm,
that, like there's this mood, this feeling, like, you
mhm.
just every
Well,
shot, you feel it. It's
we'll just go
beautiful.
we'll go back to Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Upstairs, that is what you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel the opulence. You're supposed to feel
Yeah.
how structured it is one of the things, but you're
Oh,
also, which is
uh-huh.
why it's on sticks versus
Yeah.
on a tripod versus being on a handheld. It's supposed to feel very structured, but it's also supposed to feel powerful and regal. I bet you there's never a low shot in any of those. If you go back and
I
watch, I
bet.
think
Yeah, I
everything's
bet you're right.
probably, even looking at the people on the stairs, because stairs are supposed to give people power. So you
Yeah.
do like look up at them. I don't know. It's just, I don't notice it while I'm watching it. I notice when I discuss it later on.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and that's probably good.
And I
That's
love
probably
talking about it.
better,
That's
is
probably
that,
better. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
if I notice it, oh, I
Yeah.
actually, that's not true. There are some times where I watch a film and I go, that person was very proud of that shot. And if I did that, then you didn't do your job, because you have taken me out of the moment, because I can tell you were
Oh.
so excited about this shot that it
Yeah.
stayed in, even though it wasn't cohesive. No,
Uh-huh.
somebody was very proud of that shot.
Yeah.
I say it every once in a while, and Justin's like, it's the only time I only ever notice bad DP work. So,
I was
yeah.
watching something last night that very much the moment of, like, why are we staying on this shot for this long? Like, yeah, it looks great, but why are we hanging here in the edit room? Like, somebody was
Mhm.
very proud of that shot.
Somebody fought for it, yeah.
Yeah, they did. I was like, "This is unnecessary. Let's get to the story."
Mhm.
Yeah, very fun.
I think that's all I got there
Is
for
that
what
yeah,
to look for in a DP. I think we covered
we're
the
gonna
bulk of it.
yeah, we're gonna keep diving in. We've got like we've just said a couple times now, we've got a lot of people that are gonna impart some more information. So this is what we've gathered in our research so far.
Mhm.
We got more. We're gonna keep figuring out this DP thing, because as we're making our first feature film, I think this is like the perfect time to really understand the DP's job, what they
Mhm.
bring, how to talk to them, what to get back from them, all that good stuff. So we're not gonna leave it here. We got like what, 5, 6
Yeah,
episodes dedicated to this sucker.
we're kind of this is when we're spending a lot of time
We
on.
really are.
And excuse me, one, because we have a pool of people we want to talk to about
Yeah.
this, but
Yes.
two, because it is just something that we just really don't know about.
Yeah.
So, bringing in, we have two DPs, two directors we want to talk to, and then a tandem of, and then maybe even another episode. So
Yeah.
there's at least, as I mean, people might not be available and
We're
things could
still
always
yeah.
change,
Things change. Yeah. We're nailing
but
people down, but yeah.
but we have 5 people that we want to interview, 5 different sets. So
Mhm.
it's 5 episodes of DP talk after
Of
this
DP
one.
talk. So
So
if
we're
you
just gonna
like DP talk, hang with us for the next 5 weeks. For the
there's
month of October, the scary topic of DP.
ooh,
Ooh.
spooky. We didn't theme at all.
No, not at all. We're reaching, we're reaching. So
Oh,
great. All right, so, that's gonna wrap up our little bit of DP talking
intro.
today.
Mhm.
The intro, our little, uh, prelogue. I don't know. There's a word for not epilogue, prelogue for this chapter of this book. And now we're gonna move on to something completely different. I don't know. I actually don't know
You have
what
no
this is
idea.
gonna be. I have no idea, which is kind of fun. We do a thing called, if you're new here, we do a thing called the Abby Singer shot. And this is where Natalie goes and finds a vocabulary word of the week for us to learn. We call it the Abby Singer shot because it's the second to last shot of the day, which was our very first Abby Singer shot. Natalie, what have you got to teach us today?
The Abby Singer term of the day is not today. I think is a little bit more base. It's like
Okay.
if you're in the film world, this one's not that informative. You know what this one is
You're not
basically.
very excited.
So master shot, which I think a lot of people might, and it does fit into the DP world.
Yeah.
Um,
Good
Master
job.
shot is filmed from the vantage point that encompasses the action of a scene and keeps all the major players in view. So when you're filming, you often have, for every scene, there's 5 shots. There's the master. It establishes the entire room. It establishes everyone in it. It can move. It can move to establish that, but it's often is just one big shot. And that's how you get everyone at the same time doing things. Now you also get your 2 shot, you get your close-ups, you get your over the shoulders, you get your point of views. There's like all these other things that you can implement, but almost every single scene has a master shot, whereas not every scene is going to get a close-up. But every scene you should at the very least film a master shot.
For God's sakes, film your master shot.
I will say, a master shot. I want to talk to someone about master shots because master shots are very important. But as an
Uh-huh.
actor, like I, I, I
As an
I know
actor.
I love
Yep,
them. I
I
would
know where
rather
you're
we
going.
use the master shot for everything. However, remembering what I did in the master shot 3 hours later for my
Oh my
hands or whatever,
god.
like
Yeah.
continuity with master shots is very hard. And I don't know if maybe we should film them in different orders. Should the master shot be the last one we do?
I don't
Because
know,
now
I've
we've
thought
got it
about
worked
this.
out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is on sets where you don't have time for
No,
rehearsals.
no, there's no time
There's
for
no
this.
rehearsals.
But I've often thought about the master shot, especially in like the context of like emotional. I watched the thing. I forget what actor was talking about this, but like, don't use up all your emotion on the master shot. Save some back for the close up because that's when the tears in your eyes really
Yeah.
matter. And I was like, that's so true. When do you put the master shot in filming then? And like, but to your point as well, continuity, like should
Yeah.
work it all because by the
I
time
feel
you're
like, yeah.
6 hours later, you've worked out some different continuity for
Right. So I
yourself.
almost feel like you should do the master shot first because
Yeah.
that should be your frame of reference for everything. If
Yeah.
that person crossed over there in the master, you need to
Mhm.
like if you do the close-ups and you film with your eye line here, but that person in the master, you decide that they're crossing. So it makes sense to do that first.
To me, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, well, we'll talk to a DP.
We'll ask a couple DPs what they think about this because yeah, it's definitely boggled my brain about when to do the master shot and like when I'm like, oh, we're doing the master shot now. I don't want to blow out all of my acting this early in the
I don't
day or
I
whatever,
don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't lose any steam. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I do like by the end of the day,
That's
like,
what I'm
but
saying.
not
Yeah.
within a scene.
Yeah,
Like
no,
not,
like, by the end of the
like
day, like, if we're spending the entire day on this one scene
yeah.
and we're doing I'm like, how tight are we on the camera right now? So I know how much emotion I gotta have right now.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
how
I
much
don't
subtle emotion too? Because like, the master shot, it's a whole thing. We don't need to talk about acting today.
Yeah,
But
I
but I will say bringing it back to DP, having worked on a bunch of stuff now, gotten friendly with DPs as a producer, I'm much more comfortable as an actor going, "Hey, what's our framing on this?" Because now
Mhm.
I now know I need to know for the level of my acting what the framing is because it's going to be and like how much space do I have for my hands? How much does my hands really matter right now? Like I've finally gotten comfortable with like collaborating with the DP and not just being like, oh, I'm over here being the actor, like you're capturing. No, we're all working together to create the
See,
thing.
I almost can't do that because and so that's one of the reasons to do the master first, is because if I'm in the master going to do this and lean on my hand on the table, like I need to do that. And I always am like, but no, but in the master I did this. And they're like, well, there's not enough room for you to do that now, Natalie. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Because I move.
It's not gonna match.
I am a mover.
I'll move it and shake it.
I do a lot of referencing and gesticulating. So when you do the close up, I'm like, should I just bring my hand into frame and put it on my chin like I move forward? Like I will often, we are doing my close ups often, and I'm like, okay, well, I start back here and I start leaning back in my chair. And by the end of it, I am leaning in. So you need to figure that out now in your close up. Like, how are you going to get that range of that
when
depth?
When you're doing your close up math.
Yeah. Like, hey, you need to, I don't know. I don't know how we have those conversations.
I don't know. We'll talk away. Before we get out of here, again, thank you to Jack Boots for your PayPaling us. We so appreciate it. All of our PayPals are going to go directly to funding our movie. No amount is too small. We appreciate it. And if you're watching us live on YouTube, we also have the super chat option, and I got one for us today. David Faith, I want to be in charge of ice cream. Can I be in charge of ice cream and kittens? I want to be in charge of ice cream and kittens. Those are valiant and important pursuits.
I don't know that like you'll get the czar of ice cream and kittens job by $5 by, so I think that's probably a very much more expensive title.
I want that czar.
And I don't have that ability to. You can be the czar of kittens and ice cream for the channel. I will give you that.
For the channel. You are the czar.
Outside of this world, I think the world's going to ask a little bit more of like blood money.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So thank you to all of our PayPalers and our super chatters out there. We so appreciate it. Again, no amount's too small. We're collecting together. It's amazing how quickly you can get to a big number by just doing lots of little small numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we're going to dive into our interviews. We're going to have Wei Wang, a DP that we have worked with a lot. We have hired Wei over and over and over again. We love Wei.
And on like different, as we branch, not just our projects.
Yeah.
We are on other projects with Wei.
Oh, yeah.
Like Wei is all over the place, and we love him.
I owe Wei so many freebies at this point too, for coming in and not taking his full pay. And so I produce for Wei now basically for free because I owe him that many. But that is, and I would do it anyways. I love Wei that much.
Trading days.
Awesome. Trade days. Yeah, we've been trading days. I love.
You're in a deficit. you're in day debt.
I'm in debt. I'm in day debt to Wei so intensely. But he's amazing. He's very, very, very intelligent, very thoughtful, very well spoken. So we're really excited to have him on and pick his brain about this whole DP situation we got ourselves into.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, if you're listening to this as a podcast and you want to be a part of the conversation, we do it live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So join us over on YouTube. If you are watching this as a YouTube thing and you've like, man, I really would love to just put this in my ears and go wash some dishes or make the bed. It's a podcast too. It's out wherever podcasts are happening. And bonus points for the podcast. Natalie gets in there and really cleans up the sound, and we sound so good.
I thought about another bonus for the podcast is that there's no advertisements.
There is no advertisements. If you want to go,
as far as I know, let us know if there's.
If you're hearing ads, let us know on the podcast. But thank you for all of our subscribers out there already who join us and people who've been spreading the word. I keep finding out people are watching and listening to the show, and I had no idea. Thank you. Thank you so much. It means so much to get the word out that we're doing this thing. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. We'll see you next week for a continuation of our amazing DP conversations. Later, guys. Welcome to the credit cookie, guys. Welcome to the after part that only if you stick through the credits do you know, and then you can go tell your friends about, like, did you see the cool scene after the credits? Oh, no, I was cool, and I stayed through the entire credits, and then watch the superheroes do superhero stuff at the end, or non-superhero stuff, whatever. Hi, welcome.
Whatever it is they do.
Whatever. Oh, another one in the books. Very cool. I'm excited about the DP stuff. I actually had a lot of fun researching.
Yeah, I think it's something that both of us are kind of fascinated with.
Yeah, I think so.
That I don't know if the rest of the world is. Sorry, guys. You will be once you listen to these guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
I think it was like a fascination that I didn't know I really had until much later in life, and like why when it came between theater and film, why film over theater? My acting is just better for film. But also like because of that element of the camera and the angles and the shot and the emotional context of doing it that way, like that part, that added layer is so fascinating to me as compared to a theater production where it's like the lighting and the set designing that does that, which is cool.
There's
but
nothing
like
else.
this just feels more dynamic to me, and then it lives on forever. Like those were the things that I was like, this is why film is my heart song over doing plays.
Mine was that I ended up in LA.
Also,
that was it. If I had gone to Chicago or if I had gone to New York, I would have probably stayed in theater for much longer.
Forever. Yeah. Forever until,
Ever. Yeah.
Something. Yeah. No disrespect to theater. Theater's really cool. I miss the crackle of a live crowd. But yeah, you find your heart song by accident sometimes. Oh, when you decided to be the new Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, you stay out of trouble, milady. Oh, Jackson, you're so funny. We've been getting that for years now, especially when Tina Fey was doing the we wore the exact right glasses at the exact wrong time when Tina Fey was doing she was doing the SNL for what was that politician? Her name, I cannot think of her name right now.
Well, I don't know, from Alaska, whatever.
From Alaska.
Sarah. I don't know.
I think that's right.
Sarah Palin. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
When she was doing her Sarah Palin impersonation, we all had the exact same glasses.
We all had the same glasses, and that really is what sealed the deal. And people are like, hey, look like Tina Fey. And I'm like, is it because I'm wearing glasses and I'm a woman with hair, darker hair?
I'm a woman with hair.
With hair, I have hair. No job is too big, no fee is too small. That's correct. We're gonna go bust some films.
Yeah.
But look at the comments real quick, see if there's anything we need to.
These are hurting my ears.
Yeah,
they're pushing on them. They're pushing on them hard. I don't like it. This week has been a week. Oh, can I tell you? Can I tell them about the grapefruit?
Yeah, tell them about the grapefruit. That's a
yesterday at work. This is just a out of nowhere conversation that has nothing to do with anything.
Credit cookie conversations. Go.
Yesterday at the last 10 minutes of my shift, the two bartenders that are coming in to take over are there. We are at I'm just waiting for my last table to close out. My last table decides to order 2 Greyhounds. And no one orders Greyhounds. We don't use grapefruit juice often in our establishment.
It's not fashionable right now. Like people are not doing Greyhounds.
There's a carafe of a whole carafe of grapefruit juice.
A
whole carafe. And this was my mistake. I will never make this mistake again. I've learned this. We learned this early on in our career with ketchup. Ketchup does this. Yeah. You don't shut the shit out of it. And now it's got one of those little flip tops on it. And I had my glasses on. They did not act as goggles.
For that? Oh no,
they did not act as goggles. This thing, because of the way the spout is, it's like putting your thumb over a hose, and it just spit up straight underneath my glasses, up my nose, and I just stood there holding this craft, expecting it to stop, but it's not, and it's just, and Michael was the other bartender that was there Michael and Savannah are just standing there staring, and this was going on. It felt like an eternity. He said it reminded him of something out of an early 90s movie. Like this is something, he's like, I was like watching a movie. It went on so long. It was on the ceiling. The carafe had this much left in it when we were done. I was wearing all of it.
The little flippy tap, when you were shaking it, Did you open the flippy tap or the flippy tap pushed itself open?
It pushed itself open.
Oh, that's intense. That's
Yeah. Yeah,
intense.
it was like
Fermented.
a fire hose up my
Oh my
nose.
gosh, that's
And
that's
all I
amazing.
can picture is, when you see I think we did it for this shot happens in movies often, but, you see that moment, in our Pandora unboxing where we took the, uh, the leaf blower to my
Oh,
face,
uh-huh.
and you're just like, "It's way too long of your mouth doing this," like, that's
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
happening, but with
Oh my
grapefruit
god.
juice up my nose.
So funny.
Yeah. So
Jackson wants to know if we like Chris Rock.
oh, I
I
love Chris
don't
Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't dislike Chris Rock. Like, I
No, I
like
think Chris
Chris
Rock's
Rock. I'm
hysterical,
like,
yeah.
but I'm not like
What have you done for me lately, though? Yeah.
yeah, like I have in my brain right now, I'm not like recalling enough to be like, yeah, fuck Chris
I know, I
Rock.
think
Like,
he's super
yeah.
funny, but yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't end up on my radar that often,
Yeah,
so, you
exactly.
know,
Like it's just been a while
yeah.
since I've really thought about him, but
Mhm.
I remember liking him.
Mhm. I think it's funny.
uh yeah. Last night, you know what I watched last night for the first time? Army
What?
of Darkness. I've never seen it. Have you seen this? I've
Yeah.
never seen Army of Darkness before. Nope.
Mm.
Never seen Evil Dead, never seen Evil Dead 2, never
You've
seen
never
Army of
seen
Darkness.
Evil Dead 2? Like, I don't care about
Nope.
Evil Dead. I don't care about Army of Darkness. You ever seen Evil Dead 2?
No, I've not ever seen
Oh.
any of them. It
Well,
was like one of those weird, like, I thought I had seen it, but I think I was
uh-huh.
conflating it with another, like a zombie movie. And I
Oh,
was like, wait, I didn't actually
no.
see this. So Brian last night was like, hey, I want to watch Army of Darkness. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Let's watch that with the night off. Let's watch something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really like
Did you like
I
it?
like I did. I sat there the whole time like this,
Yeah. So,
like the
I
biggest eye.
I know a lot of people love Army of Darkness. I
Yeah.
like it. It's
Mhm.
nothing compared to Evil Dead 2, though,
I want to go back and watch
and
Evil Dead now. Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Evil
Yeah.
Dead ch you watch Evil Dead 2 first.
Okay.
'Cause it's not it's a remake.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
essentially, it's a remake, but it's the better
Oh,
version.
we did a full ADHD
Okay, good.
deep dive
Good.
on, like, videos of other people talking about Army of Darkness after the
Mhm.
movie because this is the people we are.
Yeah.
We watched Army of Darkness, people talk Quentin Tarantino talking about Evil Dead
Mhm.
and cinema, like, just a whole whole stupid deep
Yeah,
dive on it.
I actually think Evil Dead 2 is the way to start, and then you can go
Okay,
back and appreciate Evil Dead as well,
okay.
but, it's kinda like, Star Wars, you don't watch it in order,
Right.
you watch the good ones
The
first,
improved one
and then if you
and
enjoy them enough, then you watch the other
then
ones.
watch the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was very much a, like, I didn't laugh at all the entire because I think I
Mm.
was just, like, the whole time, like, "What am I watching?" Like,
Yeah,
it just took a minute for me to be like, what is this?" Like, I don't know
right.
what I'm watching, but now I have an appreciation like, and 24 hours later, I have an appreciation. It's like, "Okay, I get,"
The same
and then
yeah.
digesting it.
I didn't really find, Army of Darkness that funny.
Okay.
It's just weird. It's
Yeah.
just and it's really good at what it does. It's kooky,
Yes.
but,
Kooky.
yeah, I'm surprised because I thought
Kooky's a good
don't you
word.
like what's his face? The lead? What is his name? Campbell?
No, I don't even know that guy. I don't Bruce Campbell,
Oh.
I've never seen him before in my life. He's a very handsome man.
Oh.
Which I love the juxtaposition of this really weird, goofy junk he's doing, and
Uh-huh.
the fact that he's so handsome. I'm like, the juxtaposition of these 2
Yeah.
things, this guy who, by all accounts, could be a very serious,
Mhm.
leading man actor, but he's going, "Blah, blah, 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 blah,"
That's what you have to watch Evil Dead
hilarious.
2 now. You have
Okay.
to. Yeah, that
I
is
saw a clip of the laughing scene, and I'm like,
yeah. He's so good in it. He's just
it's
yeah.
yeah, I think it makes it even it's like a magic trick. Like it's like the guy who looks really scary and tough winds up
Mhm.
being the nicest guy and so sweet and has the
Mhm.
best smile. It's that same like this really handsome, good looking man is so good at being ridiculously over the top goofy, and it's kind of like Jim Carrey is very handsome, but you kind of expect it out of him. Like it just the way
Yeah,
it's something about the
he's
way he looks, you expect it.
mhm.
You don't expect it out of Bruce Campbell, and that's so fun to watch this guy who is classically good looking, like romance book cover model,
And that's
handsome.
what they're going with his
Yeah.
look too, is that
Yeah,
he is that
totally.
classic romance cover,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Watch Evil Dead and check back in.
Okay, I am. I
Evil Dead
will.
2, I'm sorry, Evil Dead 2.
I'll watch it between now and next week, and then we'll talk about it in the credit cookie next week. I'll make it my I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna write down my homework
Yeah,
because I
it's
won't
and
forget.
don't think of it as homework, just think of it as,
No,
like,
it's funsies.
this is
Fun's work.
it's such and one of the things I love about Evil Dead 2 is that, it's practical. Almost all the things are practical
Oh,
effects, which
fun.
just is always better as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. It's just so classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
a lot of the goofy face VFX, I mean, it held up.
yeah.
Like 90% of it held up. It's like I know that that's goofy looking, but it holds up because it embraces what it is. It
Mhm.
doesn't look hokey because they're trying to use CGI and it doesn't really quite look right. Like it just yeah, it was fun.
You gotta watch Evil Dead 2
Yeah, I'm
now.
excited. It's
Really,
fun. Yeah.
it's
Halloween.
it's super kooky.
Yeah.
It's the better version of Army of Darkness.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, well,
yeah.
I'm glad I started kinda glad I started in the way I did, because then Army of Darkness would have
You can
been, like,
appreciate
less.
it because yeah,
Yeah, it would have
that's
been
what I
less.
didn't appreciate Army of Darkness the same way
Okay.
because I had
Oh,
already
yeah,
seen
yeah.
Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, we went
Evil
right over
Dead
then.
Evil Dead, I could still appreciate because you see the
Mhm.
origins of Evil Dead 2,
And that's
but I think
fun.
it would ruin Evil Dead 2 if you watched it the other way.
Okay, got it. I'll leave Evil Dead 2 first.
Yeah.
Got it. Done and done.
I didn't
Excited.
know I had such strong feelings about this, but I
I didn't
evidently do.
either. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I kinda wanna, you and I both are moderately good about watching something new every week, moderately, and,
Mhm.
the less busy we get, the more we do that. Because I kinda, would love a part of the credit cookie, "What'd you watch this week?" Because that's just fun
I watched
to
Children's of
chat.
the Flower Moon.
What's that?
That was that Scorsese,
Oh, that's right, how was that? I didn't see it. You can be
you
honest.
know,
You can not like things.
it's one of those that I understand why the critics loved it.
Okay,
I found it mostly boring up until the last 15 minutes of the film. The last
okay,
15 minutes of the film were amazing,
yeah,
and I kinda would wanna go back and I know I will say that I was half watching in the very beginning.
okay,
Um, so
okay.
I watched in earnest the entire center chunk of it, but that first
Mhm.
5 minutes I was finishing a project, so
It's
like
so hard, yeah, I
yeah,
so often have to be doing a project while watching a thing, and it's just not the same. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so I don't know, I mean, the last 15 minutes, I thought were
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um, the it's my issues with it, I think that there were some, uh, character development flaws, but like I said, I might have
Mhm.
missed something in that first 10 minutes that would have
Maybe.
justified character development that
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me. But otherwise, it's one of those movies where everybody's a bad guy almost, and
Oh,
you're just
uh-huh.
like, "I don't
Not your
like this
favorite
guy."
thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
that's not your jam.
everyone's got their it's not just flawed characters, it's that people barely have their
Mhm.
redeeming doesn't make up for it, and
Right.
not it's just such a jaded outlook on humans, and I just never
Yeah.
I don't buy it. It to me, I can't suspend my disbelief. I know what humans are, and I don't
Mhm.
buy that everyone is this bad in Crash.
Right.
It's not reality, and if people think it is, then I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry for how your life is. Like,
Yeah, I'm
that
sorry
is
for the pool
not
of people that you've fallen into.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have that experience, and I can't suspend my disbelief in that regard.
Mhm.
So I never find them
Yeah.
authentic. I find them
Okay.
forced,
Yeah. I mean,
and
I've
so yeah.
for the most of my life, I've lived a life where I've not had to deal with a lot of bad people. It's not until later in my life that I've dealt with people that I'm like, "Oh, you are just,
You're not a good person, yeah.
through and through. There
Mhm,
is no not that there's no redeeming qualities, but you are primarily a destructive
mhm.
force in this world." Like, it
Yeah.
took a you know what I mean? And, to the point where I was like, "I didn't know people like you existed." Like, I am
No.
a vault dweller. I
Mhm.
think everyone's great. And then I come out and I realize, like, "Oh, no, there is bad in this world." I've just been so fortunate to not have to be in
Yeah,
that
and
situation.
I'm not opposed. I think you do need
Yeah,
conflict, and you need bad
for
people, and you need
sure.
what
Oh, for
well,
sure. But
but,
every
like,
person
when
in the
it's
story can't be.
every
Yeah.
person or you
Yeah.
have just that one hero, um, it's not the experience that I have in life, and it's
Mhm.
I was actually thinking about this as kind of a sidebar on that, like, we watched, the new Mark Wahlberg movie too, I can't remember what it's called. It was fine.
Mhm.
Uh, but, it had no, it wasn't that. Oh, we we watched something else. We watched some movie that had, Cole Hauser in it.
Mhm.
Was not a good movie. I love Cole Hauser, but the
Yeah.
movie and it had Morgan
That one.
Freeman in it, but the script was just so awful.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it was one of those that no
Bummer.
one has any everyone's a bad guy. Um, and and there was something in there where, like, they're in the South and 2 of them are atheist. The 2 that end up,
Mhm.
like, sitting next to each other are atheist, and I was like, I was like, yeah, I wonder how much of atheism is like, it's way overrepresented in Hollywood. Like,
Mhm.
especially like this is the South. Like, I don't go
Yeah.
to church anymore because God did this to my mom. And I'm like, that just doesn't, I mean, it happens, but
Right.
it's so overly represented in Hollywood, just like
Mhm.
bad people are. And I think that's partly because one, you need them to tell a story, and you're lazy story writers and you can't make them redeem. They
It's
all know
easier.
they're the
Yeah.
bad guy, whatever. But also because I think there are more per capita not good people in those areas. Like, so
Mhm.
you are surrounded by, you get to meet one a day, whereas like
Right.
in real life in other towns you don't meet a bad person every day.
Right,
You, I
right,
mean,
yeah.
they could be secret bad people, but like openly bad people you just
Mhm.
don't run into.
Yeah.
I know I live in a small town now, but I don't run into bad people on the daily. I
Yeah,
mostly, everyone
openly.
is out trying to be good humans.
Yeah.
Like, and
I would say it's probably, like, more quietly, because like, being on Reddit, I'm in a couple of groups that, like, we talk about stuff. It's and you get to see people's locations, so you're like, "Oh, this problem that I think is purely my town problem, like an LA thing. Oh,
mhm.
this does happen in all these other small towns." We just you don't you're just not confronted with it as
No,
much.
and it's, you're not
Yeah.
living on top of each other. It's not per
Right.
capita, like,
Also, yeah, yeah, also.
sometimes, the one of the small towns I lived in was like had the highest murder ratio in
Wow.
America
Uh-huh.
at one point in time. It wasn't LA, it wasn't Vegas, it wasn't New Orleans. It was
Yeah.
a smaller town that, that
Mhm.
because it just happened to be a dangerous city. So,
Right.
but even then, when I was living there, the majority of the
But you
humans that
didn't
I met on
yeah.
a daily basis were still just trying to live their life, and they
Right,
weren't
right.
just irredeemable bad people. And
Right, yeah,
that's the
yeah.
part that I'm like, it's so stylized. And I'm like, it's just not,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
I
all the
also say,
movies that
like
I watched recently were like that. I don't know why.
well, yeah. I think also, like, we just, they're doing it for interesting story reasons, whatever, that's the taste right now, like, everyone's a bad person thing, like, this is reality, like, not
It's
really.
not.
But also, like,
Not.
in, like, this city, I don't know about anywhere else, having not lived in other big cities, like, this one is such a pressure cooker of your hopes, dreams, expectations, wishes, and whatever. And like, everyone came not everyone, but a lot of people have come to this city with like this dream, and now they're working in a restaurant, and it puts them in this pressure cooker of like unexpressed whatever, like, for whatever, like, whether it's you came here for music or you came here for
Mhm.
whatever, now you're an Uber driver and you're frustrated with the world because what you came here for you're not able to express or whatever.
And I also think it attracts a different kind of person. Like the person who
True.
wants to go and pursue that crazy dream is
Mhm.
also a different person than the person
Yeah.
who decides they're going to be a school teacher in Cedar City and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
babies
Yeah.
and whatever. Like your motivations in life and the way your brain is wired is a little bit different.
Right. Yeah.
There are
Yeah. Yeah.
serial killers everywhere. I'm not
Yeah.
saying there aren't just bad, bad,
We
bad
got a
people.
weird Ted
Yeah.
Bundy situation going on in Burbank right now. It's interesting. Like, directly ripping off Ted Bundy's move of like, "I'm hurt. Can you help me, woman, with this bag?" And like, the women who have been like, "No, I'm not gonna help you," have like survived and tried to go to the police and like, "Hey, report this guy," but he hasn't actually done anything, so they can't report. Anyways, my point is there's a serial killer right now. Well, we don't know he's a serial killer yet, but he's
Travis.
doing Ted Bundy stuff. It's weird.
Not in LA, in Lake
Huh?
Travis, in
No,
Texas.
no, 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 that's a
Oh,
different one. This is
this is a different one?
Burbank.
Oh, okay.
No, this
Oh,
is
in Burbank.
Burbank. Yeah, the guy
Oh.
in Texas, that's just the bodies are showing up. They don't know what's going on.
Oh, I thought maybe
The
this was a new development since the last time we had talked about the
No, no, no,
murder.
no. This was just the Austin is just there's bodies showing up repeatedly in the same location. They're like, "Do you not think there's a connection here to the bodies that are just turning up?" Yeah, no,
Interesting.
this is like there was this is like the second one actually. There was a guy trying doors that was, I think, a serial killer that no one's talking about in LA. And then also there's now this guy pretending to be hurt in Burbank that like women on TikTok are like, "Hey, just so you're aware, like this is going on." So I don't know. I haven't experienced it yet, but that's the story. Who knows?
Yeah, no, there are bad people out there.
Yeah.
That is not there's no qualms about that. It's
Yeah.
just I don't think it's the majority of people you run into on a daily
No.
basis.
No, I don't think it is either. I don't either. All right, you and I have mucho homework. 11, 11, make a wish. You and I have mucho homeworks to get done.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So we are going to see you all next week. Thank you for joining us for the credit cookie. Yeah, we'll do this again, and I will watch Evil Dead 2 in the next time. So if you want to join the movie club, we're watching Evil Dead 2, and we're going to talk about it in the credit cookie next week.
There you go. There you go. Got to do homework now. You've set it down.
Now I got to do it. All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.